Let's talk about the importance then of showing solidarity. Explain why that made sense to you at the time. What is the one thing that you want people to understand?
I'll tell you that I'm always at the window when we're flying over the Pacific Northwest.
What keeps you here more than 20 years now?
I love that feeling of watching an audience connect to a film.
How do you manage fan expectations?
I don't think you do. Our mission is to win championships, create unforgettable experiences, and serve our communities.
It is an avenue of self-expression and empowerment.
Yes, I am prepared to stand up for myself in a court in Italy.
And to clear your name once and for all.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would want to share with parents who've suffered just a horrific loss?
Find something positive in every day. We found it every single day.
Hope is really what I feel more, because hope is inevitable.
Welcome to this special half hour of On the Record, interviews with people who left us inspired. Over the past year, I've had the privilege of sharing some of their stories, including one about workplace safety. As lawmakers in Olympia were debating the rights of strippers in adult clubs, I sat down with 4 women to talk about their profession, the stigma they feel, and their desire to make a living in a place that feels safe.
The role the strip club plays in the community is vital. Sex work has always played that role in the community. It taught me so much about myself and how to move through the world and who I wanted to be and what type of boundaries I wanted to store. It made me who I am, and I'm so proud of it.
When it comes to public perception, show of hands if you think people have a lack of understanding about what you do.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah. I moved to Seattle with the intention of going to law school after I had finished my bachelor's degree, and that's when COVID hit.
I come from a background where it's very difficult to get traditional employment. I'm autistic, so I wasn't fitting into traditional workplaces.
As a teenager, I came from a pretty complicated living and home situation in life, and I struggled with mental illness and other things, so I was in and out of the system.
I started dancing at 18. I was a full-time student at the University of Washington at the time. It was in 2007. Everyone in my family was unable to earn an income, and so my choices were drop out of school or find a job that would allow me to stay in school and support, at that time, 3 adults and my younger sister. I now am a professor at the University of Washington. I worked in tech for about 10 years at Google and Microsoft and things like that, and honestly, dancing's still my favorite job.
I was homeschooled, never got a diploma, so I pretty much have no formal education. I had a kid and a very difficult pregnancy, and after that, I knew that I couldn't go back to the low wage jobs and support the 2 of us. So I got on a Greyhound bus, walked into a club, and got hired right off the bat. And that first night was some of the most fun I've ever had. I came away at the end of the night, looked at the money in my hands, and was like, I should have done this a long time ago.
I was really scared that I wouldn't be able to hold on to a consistent, normal job and schedule. And so stripping just seemed like the right way for me to make enough money to pay rent, to go back to school to get my diploma and college degree, and to manage the ups and downs of needing to take time off for myself.
Some of the things that I was specifically looking for in this industry was a job where I could be physically active and focus on my health. I also wanted a job where it could be really flexible about when I work and what my work start times were. I have multiple different chronic illness and just things like chronic migraines.
Do you think that the public's perception of what you do is an obstacle to you being safe in the workplace?
Oh,
yeah. I think that is the core of what we are facing, is we are dealing with regulations that are based on stigma that are now further harming us in our workplaces.
People feel we deserve what happens to us, that we are putting ourselves inherently at risk.
Dancing is not inherently dangerous, and also I reject the idea that our customer base is just more violent or dangerous than anyone else.
Let me ask you this question. What do you say to some of our viewers who don't think dancing should even be legal?
No matter what any of the viewers think, no matter what people think, there is a fact that certain women just can't get other jobs. That this is a last resort, and then the resort after that is working on the street.
Are you one of those women?
Definitely, and it works, and it's fun, and I don't have to stand out on Aurora in the freezing cold weather.
This is the safe place. We are professionals. We as humans, we need connection. We need intimacy. And the role that we play, and a lot of times, is really lovely. I have such deep, lovely relationships with some of my customers who frankly can only have that interaction because of the dynamic of the strip club.
I've been organizing the stripper industry here in Washington for many, many years. And dancers are genuinely some of the most skilled, intelligent, and beautifully empathetic and caring people I've ever met in my whole life. We all deserve to be safe and to be supported, doing something that we're consenting to.
This past March, these women celebrated a hard-fought victory. The Strippers' Bill of Rights was signed into law, requiring workplace safety training and equitable pay. And for the very first time, clubs like this can qualify for a liquor license, taking the financial burden off the backs of strippers.
These guys are showing the acceptance to me, and they don't even realize the amount of acceptance that they are showing within the community.
Coming up, what does it mean to live authentically? For Kraken trainer Justin Rogers, it was sharing with his peers that he is gay. He published a letter to his younger self explaining how it will feel to live his truth openly in the world of hockey. His story in his own words. Another person we profiled this past year was the Seattle Kraken's athletic trainer Justin Rogers. He made national news when he revealed a long-held secret in the world of hockey. In his first TV interview since sharing his truth, he told us what it means to live authentically. Take us back to Christmas Day 10 years ago. Why is that significant for you?
It's wild that it's been 10 years. It does not seem like it's been 10 years either. 10 years ago on Christmas Day was the time that I finally was able to build up my own courage and comfort level with myself to come out to the first person that was close to me, and that was my family. I'd gone home that trip. I was in the middle of reading Robbie Rogers' book, who is a gay soccer player, and he had come out to his mom via email. I literally went to the store and bought little cards, and I wrote everybody a note in my family. I was sweating, watching TV Christmas morning, and I just stood up and I handed everybody their card, and they read their cards, and there was some silence, and then they all just kind of jumped up, gave me a hug, said they loved me no matter what, and then we went along with Christmas Day.
How did letting them into your life change your life?
It was comforting. It was I felt like I didn't have to hide as much anymore.
You had a conversation with Ron Francis. Tell us about that.
I just kind of sat down and said, hey, Ron, I have no idea if you know or not, but I am gay. And he's like, that's awesome. You're an incredible athletic trainer here. We have your back. The team loves you, we love you. I had zero doubt that I had his support. Ron is an incredible human being. He might be one of the most loving human beings you will ever find. Dear younger JR, becoming the best you will take time and understanding.
Let's talk about the letter that you wrote.
That knot in your stomach, the one that makes you feel confused, isolated, lost in the world, it will slowly loosen.
What was the catalyst?
I think there's so many people in my life that had helped me come to my level of acceptance that I wanted to be able to be sure that I could return the favor or pay it forward. I knew there are other athletic trainers out there struggling. How can I help that one person, especially within the hockey community, that needs to be reached and feel like they are seen and heard? You don't understand the knot, but with time you will learn things about yourself and fulfill dreams so many others like you feel they cannot.
One of the things that really stood out to me is that knot in your stomach that you described.
It's there, it's real, like especially growing up and trying to discover yourself. You hear these comments and you're like, that just doesn't reflect to me. Like what is different about me and why am I different? And then you kind of discover yourself. And like I said in the letter, that knot slowly untwists.
What kind of reaction have you received from the people that you work with every day, the players?
Yeah. There are guys that have said, hey, I'm no doubt have played with a gay person on one of my teams since growing up, that hopefully this letter is able to help them. And only had one away Pride game this year. We were in Edmonton. We had over half of our team using Pride tape for a road game. I think it was 13 players, and like, I know there's acceptance, but like, these guys are showing their acceptance to me, and they don't even realize the amount of acceptance that they are showing within the community.
Your letter came out during a time where there's some controversy around Pride, around tape, around jerseys for Pride. Was that part of your decision to put the letter out then?
No, I had actually been working on it for months beforehand. There was a little bit of turmoil and controversy, and it was kind of, the NHL was trying to figure out where they wanted to go, and they just kind of had to take a step back, reset, and figure out how are we moving forward.
Are you surprised by the reaction, not just nationally, but internationally?
I am not surprised. I think I'm shocked. It's really empowering and kind of incredible to hear truly the depth of people and the breadth of people that were able to see and read and react to my story.
Clearly you have impacted so many lives. Some people would say you've even saved lives.
It's hard to think about it that way, but it's probably true. Hopefully in the future it's helping other children, adults, individuals feel seen and supported and know that there is a huge network out there. You will accept yourself as a gay man, creating a life authentic to you while welcoming others into it. It won't be easy, and you won't do it alone.
Do you think you writing your letter has inspired others to write a letter to themselves, and on and on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think writing a letter to your younger self, no matter who you are, is an incredible journey to take a look back about where you started in life and where you currently are.
It resonates with everyone because you really speak to authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Living your best life and wanting to just be who you are. Keep being you, keep building your community, and keep showing the love to others the way you have received it from so many before you. With all the love from your much more confident self, Justin.
And we have an update on Justin. Back in September, he was promoted to the head athletic trainer for the Seattle Kraken, becoming the very first openly gay man in the NHL ever to hold that position.
I love that feeling of watching an audience connect to a film.
Coming up, it's a privilege we took for granted. When the pandemic shut down movie theaters, we collectively learned how it felt to lose the magic of cinema, to sit with strangers and share laughter, tears, and sometimes even screams. SIF Artistic Director Beth Barrett shares how moviegoing became part of our DNA and why it's critical to keep theaters open. We were inspired by so many people this past year, including a woman who can often be found right here inside what was once the historic Cinerama Theater. Beth Barrett is the artistic director of SIF, the Seattle International Film Festival, and she sat down to tell us about the golden anniversary and the magic film holds for all of us.
There's something about being in a cinema with that 100-foot screen and the 108 speakers all around you. To really experience the filmmaker and their story and the visuals that they want you to see.
Can we first talk about the fact we're sitting in this theater?
I know. This is one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever been in. The former Cinerama, saved by Paul Allen in the 90s. We were so excited and so blessed to take possession of it this last year in 2023 and run it as SIF Cinema.
What is it about film? Why should people care about films to keep places like this open?
All of the things that filmmakers want in making the film is here on the screen. And I think that there's something that is in our DNA about coming into a movie theater that you understand. You don't look at your phone. You don't talk to the person next to you. You don't do all these things that would take you away from having the experience.
How do you convey that to a younger generation surrounded by so many distractions?
What's really interesting is that the audiences that we are seeing growing post-pandemic are actually the younger generations. They are folks that are starting to really recognize that all the distraction that they have in their daily life, the fact that when they go to work it's just email and Zoom and Slack and all these things, they actually are craving this kind of community to sit and watch a film.
It feels like you're saying younger people want less noise, more substance.
I think that's true, yeah.
What happened to this guy when he back on?
We showed Alien a year ago, a double feature with Alien and Alien 2, and we asked the audience how many of them had never seen the film, and half of them had never seen it. And then we asked them, how many of you have never seen it in the theater? And 3/4 have never seen it in the theater.
What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
And everyone knew the scene where the alien comes out of the stomach. Like, they all knew it.
That broke me. I could never see a scary movie after that. And when it comes up and scampers.
And they had all seen it on memes, on
their mobile device.
On their mobile devices. They had they had never seen the film.
Isn't that just stunning?
It is. It's crazy, but it's true, and it's not just happening in Seattle. It's happening across the country.
It's kind of a relief, isn't it?
It's so exciting. It's a relief, and it's exciting because, like all arts, cultivating new and younger audiences as your audiences age out is crucial.
What is your first memory of film, when you fell in love with it?
A key memory of mine was when I was able to drive the car by myself. I had just gotten my license, and I went to the movies by myself for the first time.
This is a big story, a major story. You understand that? We are got to get down there.
The Killing Fields.
I went and saw The Killing Fields, which I think probably says a lot more about me than it should. But that experience of going to the movies and being able to sit by myself and have the film there and just be alone and to be alone with my thoughts and be able to process that was life-changing. I was 16.
There's a lot of talk about diversity and inclusion. They may seem like buzzwords, but is that part of the focus of SIF?
Absolutely, especially in the festival. Our programming team is made up of 28 different people who are all responsible for different sections. They are actually from the communities that they are programming. And that was really important because we also want to be sure that the film teams behind those films are from those areas. This year we're representing 84 different countries and regions from around the world in 10 days.
How many films?
261.
You have been doing this for more than 20 years. You
Yes.
started out as an intern?
Yes, volunteer.
And you are still here.
Still
What
here.
keeps you here? More than 20 years now, 22.
You know, I love that feeling of watching an audience connect to a film. I love a giant audience, and I love the roar of approval or of laughter or of screaming. But I also love the smaller audience that really something changes for them. There was a film filmmaker that we brought. It was about older people understanding their trans grandkids. And one woman in the Q&A raised her hand and said, you know, my granddaughter is trans and I never understood it until now, thank you. And it was like, and that's why I do my job. That moment of using film to tell a story and to connect someone with a part of their life, it's those moments, connecting those films and those filmmakers to the audiences that they made the films for.
The 51st Seattle International Film Festival is coming up in May and will feature films from more than 80 different countries. So what does the new year hold? Who will be the change makers, the people who inspire? We can't wait to share their stories on the record in 2025.